Hello and welcome back to Season 2 of Real People. This is Episode 2, 1917 Review. I'm the host, Sam Elkins, and I'm joined today by two guests, Grant Peterson and Ken Kugel, the ones and only. Anyway, so today's film is 1917. For those of you who don't know, it's a film that just came out, directed by Sam Mendes, who did the 007 film Skyfall. It takes place in, 1917, during the First World War, and deals with some British soldiers trying to trek their way through no man's land. If you haven't seen the film, this video is spoiler-free, so feel free to continue. Alright, so initial thoughts coming right out of the movie. What'd you guys think of that?
I thought it was okay. It was good.
Yeah?
You know?
For me, I didn't totally like the story, but this, thematic, scenery, and, it really got into, what was happening during that war. And that was so cool to me, how they really portrayed it so accurately.
Yeah, the cinematic elements of the film were outstanding. The filmmaking overall was very well done. The story, I think, was simple enough for what they were trying to do, and I did enjoy it. There was a lot of heart, a lot of emotional moments, and I really enjoyed those. Perhaps that could have been a little more interesting in terms of storytelling and different aspects of the film, but I think the way it was made was engaging enough, or not engaging, it was very engaging. And I think that was very effective.
Yeah, the whole continuous, it felt like one continuous scene.
Yeah.
Which was, I'd never actually seen in a movie, or I have and didn't notice it.
Yeah.
I think kind of going into the movie, knowing that it was going to be shot like that, it made me kind of look for places where, they may have paused to take a break or things like that. So.
Yeah.
I was looking for that as well.
Yeah. The acting was really well done, of course, across the board. I was really surprised that they had some of those heavy hitters as the very, very supporting roles. Mm-hmm. You had Benedict Cumberbatch just at the end, and I thought that was really, really interesting that they did that. But it let the two main actors really shine throughout the movie. So that ends the spoiler-free section of the video. If you haven't seen the movie yet, yeet on out of here right now. We're about to get real. Where do you guys want to start?
I kind of want to start at the beginning when they first crossed no man's land into the German trench. Because of the music. It was so silent when they're crossing it, and all of a sudden the composer just hits you whoa, there's music in this film.
Yeah. Specifically with the filming from kind of behind the actors. I think there are some films out there where you don't see the face of every actor,
Yeah.
But to see, three main characters walking down a trench and not seeing any of their faces but still having dialogue was just really interesting because, they had to convey any facial expressions or things they would have done naturally that way just with their vocals. So
Probably my favorite scene in the movie was when they get into the bunker and the rat sets off the explosive. Schofield, in the first part of the movie, they really wanted to make you think that he was going to be the one to die.
Yeah.
Because he keeps getting hit, getting cut on some bloody, rusty barbed wire.
He sticks it in a dead man by accident.
Yeah, exactly. It's that guy's got so many diseases now. But then we get in there, and then he just gets covered in rubble, and oh, wow, he died real quick. I didn't think he was going to survive that, and then he kept going. And I think that was really effectively intense.
I thought it was kind of funny that the rat just set off the tripwire. Because having the rat just set it off, the rat could have set it off the day before, or the day after, just kind of convenience that the rat set it off in general.
Yeah.
I was also wondering about that storyline with how he gave up his medal, for the wine.
Yes.
Because that was just so just kind of put in there, but nothing was done with that.
I thought that was more of an effective tool showing the differences between those two characters. They really kind of juxtaposed them a lot throughout the film in the first half, showing each of their development as characters and how that is caused by each other. So I don't think that was necessarily a story point as much as it was a character thing, because you had Tommen, I'm just going to call him Tommen in this video, who is this optimistic. He still has this view of war that's not been worn down yet because he's very new to it, and he is like, oh, you get a medal, that's your honor. You need to display that. That should be a point of pride. Whereas Schofield is really like, he's hardened. He's been through it a lot. He has, we learn at the end he has a family, and he has found that when he goes back, obviously, PTSD really keeps him from really enjoying any aspect of his life at home. And so I think he kind of sees war in a more pessimistic sort of view. So he gave it away because he just didn't want to be reminded any more than he already is of what he's been through.
Yeah.
Because it's not glory, it's not glorified, it's the shit. It's like you're there and you're going through this stuff, and it's hard to really understand why you're doing what you're doing a lot of the time, I think, is what I kind of gather.
Yeah.
And so it's like, really just, it feels like suffering for the sake of suffering.
Yeah, and kind of on top of that, just, as soon as Blake finally gets, validation and like, oh, you'll probably get a medal when we get back, he dies like 10 minutes later.
Yeah, yeah.
The funny thing is, saving an enemy from a burning plane, that would have gotten you another medal too. Mm-hmm. So, he's really just trying to be this kind of happy-go-lucky character, really not familiar with war, just trying to, be a good person, and then it ends up getting him killed. So, kind of brings kind of a cold reality to war.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. His death scene was also one of my favorite scenes in the film.
For sure.
The camera movements after the plane crashes was very effective. I thought that it was really interesting to see the last thing you see before Tom and gets stabbed is him helping him, and then we turn around and we see Schofield, and then you hear it, and then it pans back around and you see him getting stabbed. And I thought that was a really effective way of doing that, because it made us. That kind of represented the shift in perspective, because before we kind of saw Tommen as the main character, whereas of course after that he dies, so then we're following Schofield. So now we're into Schofield's perspective, so we don't actually see him get stabbed. So I thought that was really interesting filmmaking technique, and then just like that single shot, just right on Schofield holding him. As he's bleeding out, he's trying to save him, but you can tell it's just hopeless.
Right, and it's really well done. Like he gets stabbed and blood's already like thinning from his face. He's getting super pale. Yeah, just really well done.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Especially doing that all in one shot. That I'm sure the digital effects were involved, of course, but it definitely looked very realistic.
Yeah,
and I thought that was impressive.
That scene when Schofield finally gets there, like from the river, and he jumps up and the guy is singing, "Tell the troops." I thought that was powerful. Like the moment of serenity, right before like everyone is about to run to their death.
Yes, it was very ethereal too. It reminded me of that scene in Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring, when Frodo and Sam, toward the beginning, see the elves walking to the gray shores or whatever, and they're singing in the song, and like I think Sam is like, I don't know why, but it always makes me sad. And you just hear it echo throughout the woods. It reminded me of that scene a lot, and I thought that was really effective, especially once you find out that they are, the second wave or whatever of the people who he's trying to stop. And it was really, I thought that was really effective, that it's like, it quiets down, and then you're just kind of in this moment that feels out of place almost, because they're just sitting there, just enjoying this music. And then they get up and they're like, all right, it's time to go die.
Yeah.
So final thoughts. Like I said, very straightforward film. Very engaging, very cinematic, very exciting to watch. It's definitely an experience of a film. And I definitely recommend watching it if you love just movie making or just watching films.
I mean, my thoughts with 1917, like, 2 out of 5, let's say, bullets for story, but 5 out of 5 dead rats for like just the historical accurateness and like the really portrayal.
Yeah, Official Real People score. This is a 3 out of 5. This season is going to be a little different, so stay tuned. We got a long slate of movies ahead. That's all the time we have today for Real People Season 2, Episode 2. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned next week for another episode. And peace.
Peace.